Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Wednesday evening, thank you for joining us. Our top story. Mohammed Ahmaz is found guilty of attacking two female police officers at Manchester Airport after a 3-week trial. The jury was unable to reach verdicts on all of the charges faced by two brothers. Also tonight, it's 20 years since the racist murder of Anthony Walker. His mum, G, reunites with Gordon Burns, who interviewed her twice around the time to tell us of her continuing pain.
The first time I said it was as if someone stuck a knife in you. The second time I believe I said someone pulled it out. Now I feel as if I've been stitched up.
Could there be hope in the search for Keith Bennett? A new documentary uncovers new leads for finding the Moors murder's victim. Reading with The Room, the Gruffalo is a special guest as some Liverpool youngsters learn to love books. On the art trail with Thomas, how Ramsey's famous feline is helping tourism on the Isle of Man.
And we do have some rain moving through overnight tonight, but for most that would have cleared tomorrow. Join me later in the programme to get the full live forecast.
A man from Rochdale has been found guilty of assaulting two female police officers at Manchester Airport following video footage that went viral online last summer. 20-year-old Mohammed Ahmaz has also been convicted of an earlier assault on a member of the public. Anna Jameson's in the newsroom. She's been following developments today. This has been a fast-moving case. It's been one that has had huge public attention, Anna.
Yes, and you can understand why, Roger. You might remember when that mobile phone footage went viral last year. It showed 20-year-old Mohammed Fazia Ahmaz from Rochdale being tasered by police and kicked in the head by PC Zachary Marsden. It caused a huge public outcry, but that footage didn't show the full picture. The jury at Liverpool Crown Court was shown the CCTV footage from Manchester Airport, which showed the events leading up to it. Now, it shows how Mohammed Fazia Ahmaz and his brother, 26-year-old Mohammed Ahmad, met their mother, who'd arrived at Terminal 2 at Manchester Airport. Now, she told them she was racially abused on the flight. As they head towards the exit, Mohammed Fazia Ahmaz spots the man, the mother points him out, and he then walks over to him. He confronts him, and that confrontation quickly turned violent. He headbutted the member of the public, Abdul Karim Ismail, and then he threw two punches. One, a roundhouse punch, definitely landed. The pair were then broken up by their family and they headed towards the pay station. Now, Greater Manchester Police were quickly called to the incident. They followed them to the pay station where the family were. Attempts to arrest them quickly turned violent. Prosecutors told the jury that Mr. Ahmaz threw 10 punches in total and that Mr. Ahmad aimed 6 punches at firearms officer PC Zachary Marsden. Now, Mr. Ahmaz, who was also said to have kicked PC Marsden and twice struck firearms officer PC Ellie Cook with his elbow. The court then heard how PC Lydia Ward suffered a broken nose in the incident, during which she remembered falling to the floor. She said that everything turned black after what she called a really forceful blow to the face.
And interestingly, Anna, none of that was released because it was potentially evidence. It had to be kept for a potential trial, which is now ended. It was after that that we got the stuff that was put out on social media that everybody said made viral last summer.
Yeah, and that's what well, this footage is what the public are familiar with. And the full CCTV footage then shows Mr. Ahmaz being tasered by PC Zachary Marsden, who kicks him in the head. Now, giving evidence, Mr. Ahmaz said he feared what he called the lunatic male officer would batter him to death, his words, and brother Mr. Ahmad said he believed he was under attack. Now, the defence argued that officers were using unlawful force as they grabbed Mr. Ahmad from behind without announcing themselves. Now, the jury was unable to reach verdicts on allegations that Mr. Ahmad and his brother Mohammed Ahmad assaulted PC Zachary Marsden, causing actual bodily harm. But this afternoon, the prosecution has told the court it intends to retrial both defendants on the charge they assaulted PC Marsden. But on the other 3 counts, Roger, we do have a verdict. 20-year-old Mohammed Fazia Ahmad has been found guilty of assaulting 2 female police officers and has also been convicted of assaulting an earlier member of the public minutes before.
Any reaction, Anna, from Greater Manchester Police today?
Yes, we have heard from Chief Constable Stephen Watson, who says that while he is disappointed the findings, the prosecution case was not fully endorsed, he does welcome the findings of the jury in respect of the convicted offender, whose appalling conduct, he says, has now been exposed to legitimate public scrutiny. He says that Greater Manchester Police is actively supporting a retrial in respect of the 1 count where a verdict was not achieved. Roger.
Anna Jameson in the newsroom, thank you. Now, 20 years ago today, Anthony Walker was walking his girlfriend home when he was murdered in an unprovoked racist attack at Huyton in Merseyside. A 20-year-old man and a 17-year-old youth were jailed. In the years since, Anthony's mum, G. Walker, has campaigned on diversity and racial injustice. She gave 2 memorable interviews in the aftermath of the crime to Gordon Burns, who, of course, presented this programme for many years. Gordon said they were among the most impactful of his career. So, to mark the 20th anniversary, I suggested that we ask Gordon to speak to Dr. Walker again. He agreed, and so did she.
G, in my first interview with you back in 2006, 6 months after Anthony had been killed, I asked you if you felt that time would ease or even heal the deep pain that you felt. And you said to me, I pray to God it does, because it is now so intense. Well, coming up now to the 20th anniversary, how do you feel now?
The first time I said, it was as if someone stuck a knife in you. The second time, I believe I said, someone pulled it out. Now I feel as if I've been stitched up. They've stitched me back together, but the pain's still there, and I've got so many scars.
The actual day, the 30th, is upon us, and I presume that's going to be a particularly difficult day as it brings it back more vividly.
It does. Like I said, there's no escape.
But how will you deal with that day? What will you do?
I have to smile because thankfully Reverend Canon Malcolm will be opening the church from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 at night for the community and whoever want to pay their respects and remember him, which I'm sure that they will. So I might come down and say hi, and then I'll go home and clean, you know.
You'll clean?
I'll clean the house.
What, for the rest of the day?
I'll just clean until I actually drop. And I do that all the time. I don't know why I do it. I just clean. And clean and clean, and I don't stop, I just clean.
It has shone through in everything you've said and done about the murder, not least when you, in my first interview with me, I think astonished many people when you said you felt no hate whatsoever towards the 2 thugs that killed your son. And when I talked to you the second time, you revealed that Paul Taylor, who struck the fatal blow and was serving time in jail, had contacted you, written to you to say you knew you wanted answers and he would be happy to talk, but you said you weren't ready at that stage. It's now 20 years since Anthony died. Do you still want to talk to Paul Taylor?
I'm here if he wants to, but my children and family are really against it. And they actually say once a liar, there will always be a liar, because, and they said I might not get what I'm looking for, the truth. They were the last one who'd seen my son alive. So I'd really like to ask them what happened, and why did you do it to my son? I still feel as if, for me, as a mom, I would like to know. And then maybe it would help me to find out along the line where this hate came from, because it's got to come from somewhere.
Do you think victims are supported enough?
No, we don't get any support at all. We're just left to our own devices to carry on. So we have to support each other as a family. And God help those who doesn't have any. And thank God that we've got our faith to help us to stay strong and stay upright and help us to survive.
Well, out of all this horror and pain your family have had to go through, one good thing has come out of it, which was the launch of the Anthony Walker Foundation, set up to tackle racism, hate crime and discrimination, and to promote equality for all.
We now have doing education and training, and thankful to the schools who open up their doors. We train the children about anti-racism, and then staff members as well are there as well to act as supporters, as well as us, we there as well. So it's in three parts. We've got the children, the teachers, and us. We train them and support them.
Gee, could I just finally say that when I talked to you previously, you said that Anthony was in your thoughts all the time, and you found yourself saying to him, how do you think I've done for you, son? Those were your words. I just say that I'm sure he would be saying you've done brilliantly, and he'd be very proud of you.
I hope so, because can you imagine if Anthony had done so much in death, how much had he lived he would have done in life.
G. Walker talking to Gordon Burns. Two thank yous there. Obviously, our thanks to G for speaking to North West Tonight ahead of the 20th anniversary of Anthony's death, which is today. And our thanks to Gordon for coming back to do that interview. I'm sure he'll agree with me. He's still got it, hasn't he? That's for sure. Right, we've got some sports news for you on the way. Abby's got the weather forecast for you at the end of the programme as well. But first, some of the day's other main stories. And the parents of a 3-year-old boy who was mauled to death by 2 dogs have been cleared of gross negligence manslaughter. Daniel Twigg was attacked after letting himself into a fenced yard where 2 mastiffs, large mastiffs, were kept on a farm in Rochdale 3 years ago. Daniel's parents, Joanne Bedford and Mark Twigg, were each convicted of being in charge of a dangerous dog. Former Liverpool and Manchester City footballer Paul Stewart received the Charlton Award from the Football Association today. Named after Sir Bobby, it's for his work promoting safeguarding in the sport. Paul, who lives on the Fylde coast, was abused by his coach as a youngster. And passengers at Liverpool, John Lennon and Manchester airports were delayed today after a technical issue at an air traffic control centre, which, as you may have heard on the national news, affected all flights in the UK. The National Air Traffic Control Provider, NATS, says that it has restored the system and is in the process of resuming normal operations. Now, here's a question. Could there be a breakthrough in the search for the body of the final victim of the Moors murderers? 4 of the children, killed by Ian Brady and Myra Hindley in the 1960s, were found, but Keith Bennett's body is still believed to be somewhere on Saddleworth Moor. A BBC documentary tonight has uncovered previously missing evidence and the existence of potentially crucial testimony from one of the killers, Ian Brady. Its presenter is the journalist and author Duncan Staff.
I worked on the case years ago and thought it was over, and then a drama company optioned my book, The Lost Boy, and they sent researchers out to talk to people who got caught up in the case. And one of those was Ian Brady and Myra Hindley's solicitor. And they to my astonishment, found 3 boxes of the original defence case papers in a loft in Hyde. And the reason that matters is because a lot of that material went missing after the original trial. A lot of the police evidence went missing. And there were notes in there from Brady and Hindley. But critically, what was in there was evidence the police had put together of how the Moors murders operated. And I looked at that evidence and worked out there was material there that hadn't been pursued. So Brady and Hindley were prosecuted for 3 murders, but in fact there were 5, as we all know. But what this shows is the police knew there were 5 and that they wanted to investigate further in the 1960s. Joe Mancy, who led the case, thought one of these photos was so significant that he actually wanted to go back and dig Saddleworth Moor. He was stopped from doing so. And Mancy was so frustrated at not being able to carry out this search that after the trial he went back on his own without authorisation, and this story's never been told before, and searched the moor with body dogs, trying to find the children. So I put together a team. I brought in a murder detective, a senior investigating officer called Martin Slevin to work alongside me, and a forensic archaeologist. And we then analysed the material and then went to see what else is out there. And that's how we managed to secure Ian Brady's paperwork from his biographer's widow.
And that, crucially, has 400 pages of a 600-page autobiography.
Yes, and that's...
Where are the other 200 pages?
Yeah, and that is an extraordinary document, because I've read a lot of things that Ian Brady's written, and they're normally deliberately confusing. He's trying to throw people off the scent. This document is clear as anything. It's a time-based narrative account of his development from child into somebody capable of carrying out the Moors murders. And the details are verifiable and accurate. And Jeff Knupfer, who found the body of Pauline Reed in the 1980s for Greater Manchester Police, he looked at it and looked at the description of how Brady had selected Pauline Reed's burial site and where he'd buried her, and it was accurate. So what we have is, for the very first time, is accurate details of how Ian Brady hid bodies.
So if you can find the other 200 pages, that might lead you to Keith Bennett.
Exactly that. That's the thought, because it's so clear and so detailed. If he's repeated for Keith Bennett what he's done with Pauline Reed, then it could literally be an X marks the spot.
But do you have any idea where those 200 pages are?
Well, we've done an audit of the movement of the document. It left, extraordinarily, it left Ashworth Special Hospital in a carrier bag. It was carried out. Then his biographer talks about delivering a double-sealed envelope to Ian Brady's solicitor in London, Benedict Bernberg. Now, Benedict Bernberg died recently, and all his paperwork went to Robin Makin in Liverpool. We've contacted him, and he just hasn't responded to our inquiries at all. So
what happens now? Robin Makin may be watching this programme. Robin Makin, I've interviewed him. I interviewed him when Ian Brady died. What happens now? What's the message to Robin Makin?
Well, if he's got the document, the right thing would be to let the police have a look at it. What else happens now is the question is, what do the police do with this? We've told them about the material we've got, and we're ready and willing to help them.
Duncan Staff, thank you for speaking to us.
Pleasure.
Mr Makin was Ian Brady's lawyer at the time of his death. Greater Manchester Police have told us that we will carefully consider and respond in a timely and professional manner to any credible evidence shared with us that may lead us towards finding Keith. They say that finding Keith remains at the forefront of their mind, as to his family. You can watch Duncan Staff's documentary, The Moors Murders, as you saw, A Search for Justice. It's on BBC Two tonight at 9 o'clock, or any time after that on the BBC News iPlayer, or the BBC iPlayer. Here are some of the other stories that people are reading from BBC News tonight, and there will be fewer police at the Kendal Calling Festival, which starts tomorrow. But levels of private security will be increased. People are being warned that anyone caught with drugs will be arrested. CCTV cameras are being installed across Salford to catch drivers who break road rules. Things like U-turns and blocking a box junction could result in a fine. And a pioneering club owner in Blackpool is retiring at the age of 74. Basil Newby opened Funny Girls 30 years ago, having first set up the Flamingo Club in 1979. You can find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news, or, as always, read more on the BBC News app. Now, the classic children's book, The Gruffalo, is a magical tale of bravery and wit. It's been a favourite, of course, for years, and today a giant Gruffalo visited a family centre in Liverpool, scary for some, as part of a campaign to encourage parents to read to their preschool children. The aim is to improve language and listening skills in readiness for school, as Lindsay Prosser reports.
The Gruffalo has been captivating children for over 25 years. Today he visited a family hub in the Speak area of Liverpool.
Do you always read to your little one? Every night before bed I do, and then during the day, if she brings a book to me, then we'll read a book or we'll make books up with puppets and stuff, yeah.
But not all parents spend as much time reading with their children. The National Literacy Trust charity organised today's event and wants to encourage parents to read to their preschool children so children are prepared for school.
In Liverpool last year, 2 in 5 children started school without the skills they needed in reading, writing and speaking and listening. So we feel it's really important and crucial to start here in Liverpool.
Amy is keen to encourage Daisy's love of books. Her own interest in reading didn't start until she was an adult.
I was more technology when I was younger, but yeah, as I got older I was reading more, depending obviously what interested me, so more like history and stuff for me.
There were Gruffalo-themed activities to encourage imaginative play. Here at the 5 Children and Families Trust, the ambition is to improve literacy standards in an area where they are poorer than average.
I'm an avid reader and I didn't have books when I was small, so we work in partnership with the libraries, Book Start, we run sessions in our local library. It's vital, it's about their stimulation, their imagination.
It doesn't matter how you read to children, to be honest, as long as they're getting the language from you saying it. If you misinterpret something or misunderstand how the book is, it doesn't actually matter, as long as you're speaking to them and you can make up the story as you go along. If you're not sure, just look at the picture. The picture shows it, tells you a million words.
Each box, said the mouse. 1 box. Hello.
It's hoped stories will become a springboard for play and chatting. Lindsay Prosser, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Like a magical day for them, didn't it? Right, bit of sports news for you. Morecambe Football Club have announced that they've stopped all football operations for the first team. This latest decision by the club comes at a time of major uncertainty after the Shrimps were suspended from the National League until the 20th of August for failure to comply with its rules. Last night we told you how the US sport of dodgeball is making a splash here. It looks like basketball will be next. The world's biggest and best known league, America's NBA, has announced that it will play a regular season game in Manchester. It'll take place at the Co-op Live Arena in 2027. The last NBA game played in Manchester was a pre-season friendly in 2013. And much more English sport. It's been a dreadful day, I'm afraid, though, for Lancashire in their county championship game at home to Glamorgan. After dismissing the visitors for 261 in their first innings, Lancashire's batsmen failed to build on the good work of their bowlers and collapsed to 137 all out in reply. Glamorgan 93 for 2 in their second innings, already 217 ahead. Now, last week we briefly mentioned Thomas, the cat adopted by the town of Ramsey on the Isle of Man. He was given the freedom of the town last year. He now has his own art exhibition of a kind. His face, as you can see, has been put into several well-known works of art and can be seen in shops throughout the town, as Alex Blake has been finding out.
The people of Ramsey are very fond of their famous feline friend, Thomas the town cat, whose face has been immortalised in reimagined classic artworks around the town.
Well, the idea was that we would paint our versions of known masterpieces. We hope everybody recognises them, and hopefully we're educating everybody, including the children, into some of the world's most famous artists and their grand masterpieces. But obviously our difference is that Thomas appears in every single one.
While some of Thomas's appearances are fairly obvious, like in Thomas and the Pearl Earring, or Van Gogh's famous self-portrait, Thomas with Bandage, others are more subtle.
We wanted the art trail to be family friendly and obviously local to Ramsey. And you can't really get much friendlier than a pussy cat that's got the freedom of the town.
It was back in November that Thomas's popularity was officially recognised when he was awarded Freedom of the Town. Well, Thomas has been unofficially adopted by a number of the town's retailers, and as luck would have it, I think I've spotted him having some R&R. Thomas has become a staple of Ramsey, but like many high streets on the island and in the UK, it's a place always looking for new ways to draw people in.
The idea is, obviously from our point of view, is to try and encourage people to Ramsey. You know, and if you're going to be here for an hour or so doing this art trail with your children, you can't tell me that they're not going to want an ice cream, or mum's not going to spot a nice pair of shoes in a shop window. So we are hoping that this will have a knock-on effect for the retailers and Ramsey as a whole.
So if you're passing through, do keep a keen eye out for Thomas, either in a classic piece of art or perhaps in the fur. Alex Blake, BBC North West Tonight, Ramsey.
Undoubtedly the most famous cat on the Isle of Man, that's for sure. Right, let's have a look at the weather and see how it's looking. Will it be raining cats and dogs? This is the question.
Very
just occurred to me.
Very good, Rod, very good. No, well, it might a little bit overnight and then it will turn drier. But yeah, it's been a little bit overcast today, hasn't it? We have had some sunshine. Thankfully, some cloud breaks. Weather photos, do keep them coming in. They're always very helpful to us here at the Weather Centre. All the details on the screen behind me as to how you can send those pictures in. You can send them directly to me on social media, or you can become one of our BBC Weather Watchers. A good summer holiday activity, I think. Right, the forecast for tomorrow, a very similar day. There will be occasional showers and variable amounts of cloud. That cloud breaking at times, allowing for some bright or sunny spells, probably a little bit more around tomorrow. But generally, it's quite a settled forecast over the next few days. We have this high pressure really trying to ridge its way in and settle things down, and it will do so. Friday and Saturday at the moment looking largely dry with some sunny spells, but early indications that things could turn a bit more unsettled as we head through into the start of next week. Overnight tonight, the cloud will build. We will start to see outbreaks of showery rain, heavy for a time in the early hours of tomorrow morning, before pulling away quite quickly as we approach dawn. Temperatures overnight dropping to 12 or 13 degrees. Some clear breaks to start the day tomorrow. So we should start the day on a largely dry note with some early morning sunshine. Cloud bubbling up a little bit. So I think we will see variable cloud and a scattering of showers into the afternoon. Temperatures about 20, perhaps 21 degrees Celsius for tomorrow. Friday's weather forecast looks very similar. That high pressure edging a little closer, so perhaps settling things down. Fewer showers around Friday and Saturday. Variable cloud again, breaking, allowing for some sunny spells with our temperatures very similar, 18 or 19 degrees. Quite breezy, though, I think, through the afternoons over the next couple of days. But just turning our attention into the early part of next week, we do have a low pressure system that for this time of year is potentially quite deep. And with trees in full leaf, outdoor activities, it could cause a little bit of disruption Monday, Tuesday. So it's worth keeping an eye on the weather forecast. We will, as always, be here to keep you updated. As for the weekend, Saturday looking like the better day of the two, and then the potential for things to go wet and windy next week.
It was like a giant blob right across the region.
Yes, that's the meteorological term,
yes.
Giant blob.
There's hope for me, yeah. And you say with the trees in full leaf, is that just because the wind can catch them?
Yeah, and it can, cause them to uproot, and there could be a little bit of disruption next week, so keep an eye on it.
Thank you, Abby.
That's right.
And thank you for watching. Whatever you do, have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night. Yes.